Natural Meditative Stability by Longchen Rabjam. The naturally occurring state of resting imperturbably has never been contrived. It is not altered by sensory appearances or fabricated by ordinary consciousness. If one abides in space, the true nature of phenomena, it reveals itself to be enlightened intent. Inwardly, there is no straying from the essence of awareness, elicited in all its nakedness as the unobstructed unity of lucidity and emptiness. There is no fascination with sense objects that manifest outwardly, no proliferation of thoughts in the ordinary mind inwardly, and no non-dual process of meditation restricting awareness in between these two options. Rather, awareness abides freely and unobstructedly, settled in its own place. Through the 4 methods of resting and the 3 aspects of meditative absorption, you narrow it down to awareness. The 4 methods of resting are resting imperturbably like an ocean, resting imperturbably in awareness, resting in the immediate perception of sensory appearances, and resting imperturbably like a mountain. First, it can be shown that you begin by resting imperturbably like an ocean, without the arising and subsiding of thoughts. There is a naturally limpid, pristine state, like the unwavering evenness of a limpid ocean, free of the occurrence of or involvement in thoughts, free of hope or fear. You abide within the state of naturally occurring, timeless awareness, the true nature of which is profoundly lucid. Even as reflections of planets and stars appear in an ocean undisturbed by wind, they are not other than the water, yet are not affected by it. Similarly, even as perceptions of sense objects arise continuously within awareness, which, being unobstructed, is immaculate, they are not tainted by reification, and so you rest without straying from that limpid, pristine state of awareness. The Tantra without letters states, the pure enlightened intent of resting imperturbably like an ocean is not the ordinary perception of sensory appearances, nor does it cause them to manifest. It is not empty or something that exists as emptiness. It is not mere clarity, but is the realm of supreme lucidity. It is not mental laxity, and agitation is automatically absent. It has never wavered, does not waver, and will never waver. It has never varied, does not vary, and is beyond all variation. Behold the supreme method of resting, which is not brought about deliberately. Do not try to complicate or simplify it. This unique state of resting imperturbably is not one of maintaining stillness, yet there is no going beyond it. Rest in the timeless, spontaneous vastness of immutable basic space. In secret, timeless awareness, which is like an ocean. In this great ocean, whose depths are hard to fathom, behold the pinnacle of the victory banner that never falls. In the ineffability of mind, which is empty, lies a supremely uncontrived kaya. Not produced, it is victorious over all attempts to produce it. The uncontrived state of resting imperturbably has never come into being. It is not altered by sensory appearances or fabricated by ordinary consciousness. If one abides in space, the true nature of phenomena, it reveals itself to be enlightened intent. Timeless awareness, Dharmakaya, is the total renunciation of ordinary thinking. So if nothing causes one's mind to stir, there is the enlightened intent of meditation. If one does not indulge in extremes, with sense objects as a frame of reference, then, like planets and stars being reflected as though in the ocean's depths, lucidity is continuous without being reified. Such is the way in which enlightened intent is present. At this point, it is very important to recognize bare consciousness in all its nakedness. But it is not enough simply to understand this. You must maintain an ongoing state of authentic being. To that end, it is very important not to stray from that state, and so numerous methods of resting are spoken of as skillful means. Initially, you must establish your natural place of rest to be the enlightened intent of resting imperturbably like an ocean. So it is crucial to become proficient in doing so. This involves a developmental process of cutting through potential errors. As the reverberation of sound states. In meditation that consists of abiding without going astray. The avenues of the senses are lucid, though concepts do not stir in the mind. Mind that investigates consciousness itself is truly ineffable and is not lost to externals. It is neither clarity that fragments one's experience, nor preoccupation with emptiness, nor the sustaining of bliss, nor impartiality that becomes apathy. Contrived relaxation in the clarity of mindful awareness, a path that leads to incorrect training, fixation on the arousal of inner bliss, reification of clearly evident attributes, manipulation of visualized colours and syllables. If one does not succumb to such limitations, meditation consists of abiding without going astray. As for resting imperturbably in awareness, without the compulsions of ordinary mind, there is an unfeigned state, a natural settling, uncontrived and unadulterated, though it cannot be characterized with words. This absorption in the expanse of being, the true nature of which cannot be characterized, involves neither meditation nor something to meditate on, and so laxity and agitation dissipate naturally, and enlightened intent occurs naturally. The utterly profound key point here is to rest right in actual awareness, naked and unobstructed. While abiding within the limpid ocean of awareness, you identify its wakeful, pristine quality in all its nakedness and ensure that you do not stray from it. And so it arises as the true nature of phenomena, without any discontinuity or division into outer and inner. The Tantra without letters states, the pith instruction for resting imperturbably in awareness. This is the point at which one touches on the secret. The enlightened intent of the single decisive point concerning sensory appearances is to seek a means of resting in awareness itself. This is the supreme secret of secrets. On the strength of one's perceptions of sensory appearances, one is liberated to the far shore. One is not bound by attachment, for these are awareness's own manifestations. The unique sphere of being is without elaboration. It transcends verbal expression and analysis by ordinary consciousness. As for resting in the immediate perception of sensory appearances, all-consuming thought patterns cannot be abandoned by being renounced, for they are the dynamic energy of awareness. Their true nature is such that there are no distinctions, nothing to differentiate or exclude. So that nature is not ensured by achievement, but arises as basic space. Without rejecting samsara, you perceive it to be naturally occurring, timeless awareness. Through the pure yoga of the dynamic energy of the vast expanse of being. As apparent sense objects arise continuously within the limpidity of awareness, which is like a mirror, the dynamic energy of responsiveness is continuous within that awareness. And so you are vividly aware of these sense objects and feel as though you are encountering them. Although in essence, sense objects do not entail concepts, their specific manifestation makes it seem as though they do. But even as they arise, you do not try to block them, deliberately focus on them, or leave them alone as a compromise. Rather, as you allow them to settle in their own place, they do not stray from the context of their true nature. Since limpid awareness is the ground for the arising of all sensory appearances, if the 5 kinds of sense objects arise, they are naturally evident as the masculine Buddhas of the 5 families. If the 5 elements arise, they are naturally the 5 feminine aspects. If the 5 emotional poisons arise, they arise within basic space as supreme, timeless awareness. This being the case, whatever manifests is nothing other than the context of awareness itself. Since awareness itself abides unobstructedly as Dharmakaya, if you do not reify it, you understand it to be unsullied. This is termed the enlightened intent of Vajrasattva, Dharmakaya that can be neither illuminated nor obscured. The Tantra without letters states, the supreme skillful means of awareness, resting in the immediate perception of sensory appearances, is the ground underlying all great visions. The 5 minor elements are Buddhas manifesting on the path. The 5 great elements are clearly evident manifestations of the mothers. Rest without distraction in the supreme state that is without reification. In the supreme secret mantra approach, timeless awareness has 5 great aspects. Rest in basic space, unaffected by the 5 great elements. Resting in the immediacy of Vajrasattva's awareness reveals the entire perspective of Dharmakaya. As the pure visions of timeless awareness manifest in all their immediacy, the secret method of resting is to rest in the immediate perception of them. Given that the 5 elements, manifestations of the kayas, have not been abandoned, there is no renunciation. Rest in your own ultimate nature. This method ensures that awareness is not obscured by any circumstances. It is a pith instruction for ensuring that conditioned appearances arise such that they clarify your experience of awareness. And it is valuable to three kinds of people: beginners, intermediate practitioners, and those who have gained some degree of stability. For the first kind, the harm that circumstances can cause is transformed into the spiritual path. For the second, circumstances arise as though in a mirror and constitute further training on the path. For the third, they arise naturally and without impediment as means to enrich spiritual practice. Your recognition of awareness is challenged when you perceive objects manifesting to your five senses, or when denial or affirmation, ingrained fixations, or strong afflictive emotions occur in your mind. These can be eliminated by distilling the limpid lucidity of awareness and eliciting its unobstructed essence in all its nakedness. You must put into practice the fact that sensory appearances and consciousness of them are of one taste in non-dual unity. But it is crucial not to mix this up with ordinary techniques. If you just look at whatever arises, you will compound the confusion of conceptual thinking. If you just experience some sort of letting go, you will cultivate a dull state of meditation in which you fail to recognize your true nature. If you cut through the proliferating meditative experiences that engage you, but then seek some subtle limpid quality of mind in the aftermath, you will be led to make distinctions based on acceptance and rejection. With such approaches, you will fail to grasp the key point that awareness arises naturally. In this regard, let me define precisely a secret key point specific to the heart drop approach. When appearances manifest, when thoughts arise, or at any other time, you recognize bare awareness in all its nakedness. And so you need not rely on any other factor whatsoever. In that context, the bare state of awareness in all its nakedness, which cuts through mental ties to the three times, is spontaneously present as a supreme state of equalness that is utterly lucid, for it arises naturally as the enlightened intent of naturally settled Dharmakaya. No matter what arises in this state, do not reflect back on what is past. Do not think ahead about what is yet to come. And do not analyze the present moment in between. Rather, ensure that you do not stray from the recognition of bare awareness in all its nakedness. The Six Expanses states, for anyone who does not hold onto traces of the past or anticipate the future, but lets consciousness rest moment by moment in its natural place, all consciousness blends as one. without any distinction of earlier or later, in what I call a single unifying essence. This is the yoga of knowing the equalness of the three times. Through the skillful means of allowing focused attention to resolve naturally, samsara and nirvana blend in non-duality. One who brings an end to recollections of the past, curbs anticipations of the future, and allows consideration of the present to fade naturally, is what I call a yogi who knows the equalness of the three times. In not fixating on previous states of mind, not relying on future states of mind, and not paying attention to present states of mind, one is a yogi who realizes the equalness of the three times. If one does not give the slightest credence to non-recognition of awareness in the past, invite non-recognition in the future, or associate intimately with non-recognition in the present, one is a yogi who knows the equalness of the three times. If one is not attached to past aversion, does not usher in future aversion, and does not hone present aversion, that is said to be the yoga of realizing the equalness of the three times. If one does not gather clouds of past ignorance, till the soil of future ignorance, or bring down a rain of present ignorance, that is said to be the yoga of realizing the equalness of the three times. One who does not acknowledge Buddhahood in the past, invest Buddhahood in the future with significance, or devote energy to Buddhahood in the present, is said to be a yogi of the equalness of the three times. One who does not try to renounce past desires and attachments is not resigned to future desires and attachments, and does not banish present desires and attachments, is a yogi of the equalness of the three times. One who does not cling to past envy, focus on future envy, or dwell on present envy, is a yogi who realizes the equalness of the three times. Then one is known as a yogi who realizes the non-duality of samsara and nirvana. As for resting imperturbably like a mountain, in the timeless unity of sensory appearances and mind, the naturally settled state that is the true nature of phenomena, meditative absorption is experienced as an unwavering, ongoing flow. Thus, the Vajrapinnacle, the most excellent enlightened mind of Samantabhadra, is the most sublime, spacious state, equal to space. The most sublime meditation of all involves no differentiation or exclusion. It is spontaneously present as a superb, timelessly infinite monarch. Once the three other methods of resting have been perfected, the state of resting imperturbably like a mountain occurs as a matter of course. Just as there is no transition or change in the most majestic mountain, you discover the confidence of enlightened intent that does not stray from the true nature of phenomena. That is to say, once yogis realize the essence of awareness, timelessly, without transition or change, and abide within it, they do not stray from it, regardless of what circumstances manifest. Given that circumstances themselves arise within that enlightened intent, they serve to clarify one's experience of awareness. This is like heaping more wood on a fire. The Tantra without letters states, resting imperturbably like a mountain is the secret view itself. There is no doubt, and mental stirring is automatically absent.